proselytizing on here, but the reality is, if trying to share the gospel with the Jews is proselytizing, well, then Paul was a proselytizer.
Yeah.
Peter was a prophet. The apostles were proselytizers.
And the word anti-Semitic, you're not anti-Jewish.
Exactly, that's right.
I have more of a love for my Jewish ancestry as a Catholic. I love it more. I appreciate it more. I thank God for it more. And I have more of a love for the Jewish people now as a Catholic. I mean, how can you teach of God, of Jesus, and be anti-Semitic when he himself was a Jew and he did the most loving act for all his people that are Jewish?
The verse that we've used as the theme, by his stripes we are healed, comes from the center of Isaiah's prophecy about the coming of the Messiah. And so that's Jewish prophecy about the coming of the Messiah. By his stripes you are healed. That is the message we want to tell our Jewish brothers and sisters. By his stripes you are healed. They need to come to discover their Messiah. And just as you said as a young woman, even though they said you can't come back, but you were getting too close to the truth.
And the Messiah to save us, to save his people. And that's what he did.
Let's take our first call. This is Lucy from Florida. Hello, what's your question for us tonight?
Good evening, Mr. Polk. Thank you very much for taking my call. I became a Catholic about a year and a half ago.
Welcome home.
Thank you. I'm very happy to be home. A week after I was confirmed into the faith, I moved to North Germany. I'm in the States now on a visit. I have one big problem, and that's going to confession.
Yeah.
I'm just petrified to go into that dark booth. And I don't know what to do. I just freeze. How can I overcome this?
Thank you, Lucy. Wonderful.
Oh, Lucy, I can understand the dark booth. I call it the black box. It took me probably 10 years into my conversion before I would even, look in there. I just never understood it. I was terrified and what goes on in there. So I go to confession face to face. And I look at confession as a spiritual car wash. You're putting all your sins, giving them he knows them anyway, but to confess them to the priest who's acting in the person of Christ. You're there with Jesus who knows you and loves you, and he wants to say those words, you're forgiven. So if it's the black box that's causing the problem, see if you can go spiritual direction or face to face. If not, one thing that's helped me also, go on a trial run. Go look in the confessional. When nobody else is there, after Mass, you can sneak in or whatever, and get on your knees and just pray, and see how it feels. And then, if you have to do that a couple times to get the feel of it, make it a prayerful time in there.
And let me add that for many converts, this is a struggle, because if we've gone for so long in our life without this as a part of our spiritual practice, then it's hard to add in for many, partially because we may have an imbalanced understanding of the priest's involvement in the confession. And so I encourage you to talk to a priest about this, because here we are speaking through the screen to a priest, and we're telling some things that we would tell to no one else. And so it feels awkward to do that. But to understand it from the priest's side, and how the priest understands his place as the other Christ. They're in the midst, hearing our confessions in the place of Christ. He's not sitting there, getting joy over what he's hearing in that sense. He sees his calling as a very, very important thing. I've known so many priests who have told me that they see confession as one of the most significant things they do in their life. A very powerful moment when they know that they're freeing people from the pain and the slavery of sin. So talk to the priest about it. Let him help you through it. Because maybe there's other reasons why that black room is difficult for you, and the priest can help you through that. Because it is a very important part of your spiritual journey. It's the place where we get healed spiritually.
I was about to say, that's where the healing process starts. To let God's grace flow through. When he puts his hands on you, and you know you're forgiven. My dad, I didn't even tell you this, Marcus. My dad, after he's 72 years old, and this Easter, he's coming into the church.
Wonderful.
And this was an issue with the confession. I think that it's scary. It's very scary. But I keep saying, go, Dad. You know, it'll be fine. I go, go once a month so it'll be more comfortable. But with that, and I have to offer that, a little sideline there about my dad, and it's tied together with his issue of going to confession and everything. But persevere in prayer of those you love also, because when my dad, he's 72 now, I've been Catholic for 18 years, and why now or whatever, but it's in God's time. And don't give up praying for the world, for your family, for your children who have left the church to come back. Keep praying. Keep taking your little sacrifices, your pains and aches, even if it's just to say, when you have a headache, it's like, God, can you shed graces on my family to bring them back home, or to bring them home for the first time?
Because it is grace in the end that
grace.
turns the hearts. All of our words and everything we do, yet it's still grace in the hearts that brings about the conversion. Let's take this next.